Alright, so you watched part 1 in the series and were so hyped that you fired up DotA and were super excited to play until you got to the main menu and you sort of just got lost in the huge number of options available to you and then you quit. Well, I don't blame you. This is pretty much what happens every time I go to the supermarket. Anyway, here I am, your DotA savior, ready to help you navigate the menus and interface in Dota 2 so that you can actually get into a game and then understand what the hell is going on. Of course, by the end of the video, you'll be an interface expert and know down to the exact number of pixels, the size and location of every single button and piece of information available to you. Well, either that or perhaps you'll just be a little bit less confused. Moving on, make sure you're subbed to my channel and have hit that bell thing to get notifications when my videos are uploaded. Obviously, this is just the second video in the series, so having these notifications will be super helpful if you want to watch the whole series as soon as the videos are released. Dota is such a beautiful game, but it's so damn complex, and the interface can be as well if you don't know what you're looking at. Which you don't, because you're a beginner, but that's okay, you've got me and I've got you. Isn't that nice? Right, well, let's start with the main menu. It can get quite in depth, so we'll start simple. I'll try to run through this quickly, but we'll do a little bit of explaining on each item. Also, feel free to skip to the next section if you're familiar with the menus already. Now, I'll make sure to put the timings in the description for you so it's nice and easy to do that. Alright, so up the top here, we've got the settings button, which will open the settings menu. You can open that and you can play around in here. There's quite a lot of options, so yeah, might be best to leave it alone if you don't know what you're doing. I'll be going through this in another video anyway, actually on the next video, which is on hero controls, so make sure you come back for that one. Now next to the settings button over here, we've got the navigation buttons, which will allow you to go back and forwards between tabs if you need. I haven't gone to any tabs yet, so I don't have these open, so I don't have any option available. But you can, once you start moving around, you'll see that these will come available to you. Alright, next to the navigation buttons is the Dota logo, which is also just the main menu button. It will just take you back to the main menu page. Now up here is the heroes button, which will bring up a screen of all the heroes which are by default sorted by their primary attribute. Once you're in this heroes menu as well, you can click on any of the heroes that you like, which will bring up more information about that hero, and it can be very useful to invest some time into while you're learning. I recommend you do this if you're just new to the game, as you can, read about the hero's abilities, look at well, you won't have access to these ones, but you can see the different cosmetics you've got. You can see your stats with the hero. You can see any guides for the hero, and also in this about section, you can see the different stats for the hero, which is quite useful to know when you're learning. Definitely reading the different abilities and the talent trees and all of that stuff, as well as this demo hero button, which will give you a little bit of a go at the hero. Definitely worth doing, which you can see now. Yeah, it just opens up this demo menu, but I'm not going to go into that. Up the top here is the store button, which will allow you to spend your hard-earned money on digital items with almost no perceivable value in the real world. But they do look good in game, so make sure you check this out. Now these don't actually have any effect on well, I'll open one here. They don't actually have any effect on the strength of your hero in the game, and they won't give you any advantage in the game. But they definitely do make your hero look cool, and that's what it's about these days. Those style points, you gotta get them. You could be the most garbage player in the world, but really who cares if you got the latest Arcana. Over from the store tab is the watch tab, which will allow you to view live games as well as tournaments and replays, which you can see the live games here at the moment. There's some league games going on as well. And if you go to tournaments up the top, you can see all the past and present tournaments, and you can click into those further and watch the games there. Other than that, you can see the replays here, which you can see your friend matches, some popular tournament matches if there are any, also matches you might have saved to watch later. And in your downloads tab, you can see all of the matches that you've actually downloaded and you can watch. Anyway, across from the watch tab is the learn tab. Now you can go through this one if you want, but honestly my series is better. Actually, probably not. But in there, they do have a tutorial which can be useful if you're completely new. There's also a tab which will showcase all of the items here, so you can read through each one to understand what they do, and I find this really helpful if you're just learning. Now the last tab up the top here is the arcade, which is basically where you can play modded versions of Dota. Yeah, there's lots of different types in here. Yeah, that's probably enough of the arcade tab. At the top right, you can see your shards tally, which you'll see if you've got Dota Plus, which probably most of you beginners won't, but that's there if you've got it. Now across from the notifications, you can see your armory, which you can click on, and it displays all of the items that you have for each of your characters. And you can sort them here as well. Across from the armory, and remember where this button is, this is the exit button. So if you want to quit Dota because you've lost too many times, you can click this one and you can quit. Make sure you remember where this one is. It's really good after a few bad games. Now over here is your profile, which you can edit to make look how you like. You can also see a history of your previous games and some other things as well. I have a play around in this one. There's quite a lot of things you can do in here, so I'm not going to go in too much depth. But yeah, have a play. In the middle of the main menu, there's typically some advertisements for the latest Arcana or news item. Here you can see a treasure. At the moment, it's still showing some information and things for the international, which has just concluded. But soon this will be updated and go away. Now down the bottom here, you'll see your friends. You can see if they're playing a game or not. You can also see under that your party. So if you're in a party with some friends, you'll see it down here. Over here, if you hover over your friends, you can actually right click them and bring up this context menu. In this context menu, you'll see options such as view profile, send message, invite to party. But one of the most important ones is watch games. So if you're bored, you can actually watch your friends play, which is a lot of fun. I guess, maybe, I don't know. I like playing, I prefer to play. Now across from the friends section here, you've got the chat area, so you can see your chat in your party, so you can say something in there, or you can join various channels. Here you can see I'm in the Melbourne Victoria one because that's that's my closest channel, I suppose. Now further across, you'll see the highlights reel, which typically displays highlights from your friends, but you can also post random stuff here, like I don't know, I'm the best Dota 2 player and YouTuber, come at me purge, and that will post, and now everyone can see it, at least everyone who's on my friends list. So after this, we've got the most important button on this whole main menu, which is play Dota. Now once you click on play Dota, you'll bring up a few different options. Now I'll just start at the top. Battle Cup is number one. Now, Battle Cup's essentially a casual tournament which is run every Saturday night. They're actually a lot of fun, and I really love the Battle Cup as it's just a great opportunity to help grow your competitive skills. It gives you an opportunity to practice drafting teams, but it also gives you an opportunity to sort of experience what it might be like in a tournament environment. Yeah, so I really like this mode. I wish it was run more frequently, but that's okay. It's sort of like a once a week thing that I'll really look forward to. There is a small entry fee for this, which you can see here. At least in Australia, it's $1.45. But if you've got Dota Plus, it's actually free. So that's one of the benefits of having Dota Plus. All right, now if we go back, which actually that's not what I wanted to do. I'll just click out of there, play Dota. So under Battle Cup, you'll see custom lobbies. Now, custom lobbies are pretty much how in-house games are set up, but actually, I think tournaments can be organized through this mode as well. Anyway, clicking on this allows you to create a custom game. You can change your game options, invite who you like, kick who you don't like, and basically just create a custom game. Anyway, we'll leave that. Under custom lobbies, we've got practice with bots. Which is actually super useful for you complete beginners out there, and I'd recommend playing quite a few bot games on a challenging difficulty at first before jumping into a real match, as this will really help you just get familiar with the controls, the map, and the basics sort of before going into multiplayer and then getting killed over and over again. Probably playing bots will help you die less in multiplayer than if you dive straight into an unranked match, which is good because you're probably a few percentage points less likely to never play again. So that's definitely worth doing if you're a complete noob. Under that, you've got practice 1v1. Basically, this cues you to play a 1v1 mid-only game against another player, which, yeah, actually, I don't know if people play this mode. I don't ever queue for it. And actually, let's see. Let's have a look to see if we can get a match.
One eternity later.
Yeah, I'm over this already. Alright, under practice 1v1, we've got ranked, the best mode. But this will be disabled for you if you're new until you've played enough games. Now, this is basically like any other video game that has a ranked mode. You queue up, and after a while, it will throw you into a game against other roughly equally ranked players, and then you guys battle it out for the precious MMRs. Now, one of the recent updates made it so you can actually queue for different roles, as you can see here. So you could say, queue for hard support or off lane, which I think is actually a really cool change and just makes it better if you want to practice or play one particular role. And finally, we've got unranked, which is similar to ranked, but it just has a couple of extra modes that you can choose from and is more of a casual style game. So you can typically use this mode to practice against other players. Now at the bottom here under unranked, you can select your language and also you can choose your region, but generally these are set to your region and your native language anyway, so you shouldn't really need to change these, but you can if you want. Alright, and once you're happy with your selections, you can finally click the Find Match button and get into a game. Great, so you've managed to find your way into a game, but now you're confronted by this ticking timer and over 100 different heroes to choose from. Welcome to Hero Selection. Now actually, the screen might appear a little bit differently depending on the game mode, but I will be showing you what a standard all-pick screen looks like. So first of all, in the top corner is a button which takes you out to the main menu, and then also next to that you've got the settings button like normal. Also up the top, either side of the ticking timer is the two different teams. Each player is given a unique colour, and underneath that colour is the player's name. Obviously beneath this is the main hero selection screen, with the heroes sorted by their main attributes, which you can change again if you like. You can click a hero which will highlight it above your name and colour, indicating to your teammates that you might potentially play that hero. It will also bring up a small profile of the hero with some useful information on the type of role that the hero can fulfill, as well as the hero's abilities, which you can hover over for more information. Below the hero information is the lock-in button and the random button. I'll come back to the lock-in button shortly, but the random button can be used if you really have no idea what to play, if you're confident on all heroes, or you just want the extra mango and fairy fire as a starting item. Over here, you can also filter the type between carry or support, and also filter the complexity of the heroes between low, medium and high. Now if you're unsure and are just starting out, a good idea is to just select the heroes that have low complexity, as these will be much easier and less rage inducing. Once you're happy with your hero, you can click the lock-in button, which will select the hero and also display this to both your team and the enemy team. This will bring up the strategy screen, where you can purchase your starting items, select your lane, predict enemy lanes, and also place where you would prefer to have wards placed. Now, I did forget to mention before, but in the previous screen at the bottom left, you can select your preferred lane on the map by clicking on the map where you would like to go. You can do this before you pick your hero, and doing this will give your teammates a better idea of where you're going and where they should be going as well, and what heroes they should choose. Anyway, back to the strategy screen. You can click this tab here and change your hero cosmetic loadout if you like, and you can also view some guides here, but really there's no time to do this, so just try and buy your starting items if you can. Now we've finally made it into a game. Congratulations! You've gotten through the menus upon menus and survived the overwhelming supermarket experience of hero selection. But now you're in game and you've actually got no idea what you're looking at. Well, let's try something different this time, and we're going to start at the bottom of the screen. So over here is the minimap, which gives you an overview of the whole map and shows actually quite a lot of information, including heroes, enemy heroes when they're not in the fog of war, buildings, both enemy buildings and your buildings, the lane creeps, which you'll see shortly once they spawn from here. And they also show locations for the neutral creeps, which you can't see at the moment because they haven't spawned. Roshan, as well as rune locations. Now, it's vital to become familiar with the minimap and the information that it shows, as one of the keys to DotA is gathering information and then making quick decisions based on that information. So make sure you get familiar and learn what all of the little icons are for. I will be going through the map in more detail in an upcoming video, so you'll get more of an idea when I go through it with you then. Now, next to the minimap, you've got your scan tool, which you can use to scan an area on the map, and it will turn red if it detects an enemy in the area you've scanned, as you can see here. Underneath the scan tool is the glyph of fortification, which will give your buildings and creeps a quick immunization shot, making them invulnerable for 4 seconds. Now down the bottom in the middle, you've got your hero toolbar, which is basically this whole thing. I don't know if it's actually called that, but that's what I call it. But you've basically got your hero portrait here, and down the bottom next to that is your hero level. Now I'll actually go and click on someone else, but you can see the hero level down here, as well as this little ring around it, which sort of shows how close that they are to leveling up. So you can see she's just leveled up, and she's a little bit further away now. But every time a creep dies, a little bit more of this ring will fill in. Back to my hero. On the other side of your hero portrait, you can also see your hero damage, your hero armor, your hero's movement speed, as well as their strength, agility, and intelligence stats. Now, if you hover over these stats, you can see a bit more information on how each of these are calculated and what that does for your hero. Moving along, we have the talent tree, where you can select your unique talents at levels 10, 15, 20, and 25. Next to the talent tree are your skills, which you level up throughout the game. Here I'll select one here, Wraithfire Blast, but these are all of your skills down here. Now again, I'll be going over the talent tree and skill points in a later video, which you already knew because you watched the first video. Anyway, under the skills and talent tree is your health and your mana bar, and then across from that is your items and your backpack. Again, this is another video, so I'll go through that later, but at least you know where your stuff is at the moment. Now actually we just swapped over to nighttime, which you can see up the top here. So there's actually a timer in the middle here, as well as the time of day it is. So it'll be a moon when it's night and a little sun when it's day. Across from that you can see your current gold, and you can also hover over this for some more information if you need it. Next to the gold are some buttons for the courier, which include select courier, courier shield, and courier deliver items. Now above that is your quick buy, where you can actually assign items to your quick buy and then use a hotkey to buy them quickly. You can do that just by dragging them out of the inventory and then buying them straight from here. Next to your quick buy is your sticky, which is basically where the teleport scroll always lives, so you have quick access to it. Now up the top again, we've got the main menu button, or the dashboard button, the settings button, and then the scoreboard button, which is actually really handy as it gives you an overview of the current hero levels, as you can see here, the amount of gold that each hero has on your team, whether they've got buyback or not, the talents that each hero has selected. This includes the enemy's talents, but no one has them yet because no one is level 10. Now at the bottom of the scoreboard here, we've got a few more options, which enables you to hide or show some extra information as you need it. Under the buttons at the top, we've got your kills, deaths, and assists, last hits and denies, as well as your net worth, and it actually compares your current to your goal. So you can quickly look at this and gauge whether you're performing really well in this particular match or if you're a little bit behind. Awesome! You've made it! You've finished a game of DotA. Now, I have no idea if you've won or lost. Hopefully you've won because losing sucks, but either way, you'll come to the end screen. The end screen is actually very useful as it displays interesting information about the game, such as the net worth of each player, damage dealt, and also displays some graphs showing the experience and goal difference throughout the match. Now you don't have to spend a lot of time here if you don't want to, but it's actually quite useful if you are looking to analyze a match and potentially improve your gameplay. Starting with the overview tab, you can see the players on each team, their net worth, kills, deaths, and assists, as well as the total length of the match, total number of kills on each team, and also who won. Now you can dive a little bit deeper here and click on each of the players to see how they performed against their average for that hero. Here you can see that with Zeus I performed better than I usually do. Now you can also see the item purchases, and using the slider at the bottom you can see how the items progress throughout the entire match. Here you can see my starting items, and as I move through the game you can see that I get more and more items. Now once you've had enough of this, you can click on the scoreboard tab. Now this is probably the most involved tab and displays the most information. I'm not going to explain each item as this video is already pretty long, but you can scroll through here and see certain information about each hero, including their items and their skill builds at the end. Now if you click on the graphs tab, you'll see some graphs. This first tab within the graphs tab shows you the team experience and net worth. Now this is actually the difference between the teams. So for example, if you follow the gold line, you can see the net worth graph. And as we go down the graph, we're actually approaching a $15,000 or 15,000 gold margin that the DotA has over the Radiant side. I'm not sure if everyone has access to the win probability here, or if this is just a Dota Plus thing, but this one's here as well. These graphs can be really interesting to look at, especially if there's been a big comeback in the game, as you'll see the graphs take a big sudden dive and change direction, sort of like you can see here. Now in the player net worth tab, you can compare the value of the items and the gold for each player throughout the game. You can do the same thing for the player level on this tab, so you can see over time the levels of each player and how they've progressed. And in the last tab you can see the progression of the player items. There are actually two other tabs which are for damage and for performance, but these are Dota Plus only and I'm not going to go through them. Also, one thing that I haven't mentioned yet is the report and commend system, which is part of the endgame screens. Now if you go to the overview tab, you'll see a little green star with a thumbs up and a little red flag with a thumbs down above each and every player. This is the commends and report system and can be used to give a good rating to players who were helpful or played well, and for reporting players who were abusive, trolling, or otherwise intentionally ruining the game for you or others. Be sure to use these as they're a good way of keeping the Dota community friendly and the games fun. Yeah, so this video probably went longer than I intended it to, but that's alright. Thanks to everyone who's watched it. I hope this helps you to better understand the various menus and interfaces within Dota and hopefully confuse you less. Make sure you hit the like button and the subscribe button and the bell icon, leave a comment and share it with at least 257 of your closest friends, family or social media followers. Make sure you come back next week as well for the next installment in the series, which will be all about the hero controls. Have a great day everyone and see you next time.